What's going on? Welcome to this video. Within the caged system, we're getting deeper into the last videos were about how to build chords, what type of chords we can build. Now we're going to look deeper into the notes and what they mean and how you can be empowered to understand. It's not just what to do, but why does it work and how does it work? Well, this is kind of the first in that mini-series within the caged system series. And this has to do with numbers. We see numbers in music, and I want to talk about what it means. So again, you can be empowered as a musician. Numbers in music are always used in reference to a distance away from something. So if I tell my friend, I'm at McDonald's, where are you? And he says, I'm about five miles, right? Miles, we know, okay, then he's probably this far away from where? That point that I'm at, okay? So numbers are always referencing from the distance, from somewhere, okay? So there's two ways in which we can reference distance, and I'll start with the first one. When we look at an open E chord, so we're going to use the open position for now, but then we'll build it up the neck. If I use numbers in reference to this E chord, right? So we're calling E its own sovereign chord. And any numbers that we use are a distance away from the E. From the E. It's E. The E is the lowest note I can sing somewhat comfortably. E. Not that comfortably. Another thing about the numbers is that there's no like zero. Starting point is always going to be 1. So that can be confusing too. Anytime you're measuring distance in music, always start with 1. And the 1 is in some way home base. So in this case, E is 1. E. Okay. So we have some other notes here in this chord. We have an E note. We have a B note. We have this note memorized. The second string down, second fret is a B note. So in an E chord is a B note, naturally. And then we have the next string down, where my ring finger or my third finger is. That is an octave. We've talked about the 2 down, 2 over rule. Those are octaves. Octave and oct means 8. Octave. That's a number that we've heard, and now we get to see how that number works. 8. Octave. What does that mean? Well, the 8, again, is in reference to the 1. The 8 is a distance away from 1. If I sing that E note, and I go up a major scale from there, da, 1, da, 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 I'm on 8. I'm on 8. 8, 1, 8, 1, 8, 1, 8. So the distance is the steps to get to that 8 from 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So I'm just going to keep going, and I'm just going to keep adding from here. I've got into this more in earlier videos, and I'm going to try to remember to put some links in the description. But I get into all this in the open position, but I'm trying to give you that background again anyway, so we can apply it up the neck. Every major chord and minor chord, so basically almost practically every chord that you're going to play, is made up of that note, right? If we're playing an E chord, the chord is going to have E notes in it. It's going to have what we call 3 notes and 5 notes. 1s, 3s, and 5s. Again, if 1 is E, well, the 3 is some distance from the 1, from the E. And the 5, again, is even a further distance from the 1. 1s, 3s, 5s, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3. There's a 3 in here somewhere. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s. There's 5s in there as well. And that's it. That's something to put to memory. So, anytime you see a number, it's usually not one of those numbers. And so when we're going to play something, we're going to add another number to the chord that's not a 1, 3, and 5. We need to give it a name, so we use numbers. We're adding this note. Well, how far away from home is it? this many notes away, a 6 or a 4, or really commonly a 7. Maybe you've heard of an add 9. All right, but all chords already have in their basic major and minor, they already have 1s, 3s, and 5s. So the B is a 5 away from E. 1. Just listen to the distance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You hear how I counted away and I'm singing and playing that B note? So 1, 5, 8, or octave. All right. And then we said 3. So this pointy finger where we're at 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now numbers keep going technically. Like a piano, we have an octave away and then an octave away and an octave away. Technically, numbers can keep going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? Like that. But once they get past around 9, most commonly, we just start it back. Like when we get to 8, the next note after 8, instead of going to 9, which sometimes we do, we'll just go back to 2. It's just a language thing, and I'm trying to speak generally here. I'm trying not to speak too technical, even though it is very technical. But what I'm getting at is 1s and 8s are the same note. They're both E's, like the E example, we have E's. So 1s and 8s are the same note, just an octave away from itself, which means 2s and 9s are the same. 3s and 10s are the same. 4s and 11s are the same. But again, you probably won't see very commonly a 10 chord or 11 or 12 chord. We usually try to keep it within that 1 through 8 or 1 through 9, maybe if we pass the octave, right, to the 9. But the 9 and the 2 are the same. That is a huge concept to take in and absorb and think about. 2s and 9s are the same. But literally, the notes just go up the key or the scale kind of in the key that you're in. Da 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 da. There's my A. So the reason why I called this note down here a 3, I could have went 1 or 8, 9, 10. I could have called that a 10. Remember, 10s and 3s are the same. So that's why I went up to 8 and then now I'm back on 3, right? It's because the octave is only the 8, well, technically 7 notes, where 8 is the 1 again. I'm just the messenger. So, a couple first things to remember. Minor and major chords are made up of only 1s itself, 3s, which is a couple steps away, and 5s of the distance away from that chord that you're on. So that's numbers when we're talking about it from a specific chord. We're not talking about going from this chord to that chord and the distance from this chord to that chord. We're only talking about specific chords. And when you see numbers in a chord, it's the distance from itself. E, an E6, a G sus4, right? A C add 9 is really common. But we're going to get into more colored chords later. So, the E shape is a 1, a 5, an 8, or another 1, an octave, a 3, a 5, and another octave, or 8. We could just call it 8. So 1, 5, 8, 3, 5, 8, or 1. I know that's confusing, but again, I'm just the messenger and I'm trying to explain it the best I can without being there actually with you. So 1s, 3s, and 5s. Let's look at the A shape, and we're only going to do, for now, the E shape and the A shape, so we can apply it to our caged system, because if you remember, the E shape and the A shape are the most common shapes that we play up the neck. Let's look at the A chord. A also goes, now so A string is 1. It is its own 1. A's 1 is itself A. A1, we're just looking at A. We're not looking at its relationship to the E chord, for example. We're just looking at A. A has a 1 in it, its own A, its own 1. The next note where your index finger is is a 5. And we could sing that scale if we sang that A and we went up a scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that. Hey, look, that's the same E note as we were playing when we were playing an E chord. So to E is, another E is its octave. When we're talking about A, that same E note is distanced from the A, and it is its 5 note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're going 1, 5. Look, 2 down, 2 over from our A. That is an octave. Oct, 8. It's its own octave. 1, 5, 8. Now we need, what number are we missing? Remember what the major chords are made up of? 1, 5, and then we went to an 8. We don't have a 3. We need a 3. 1, 5, 8. 1, 2, 3. Hey, when I sing away from A, 1, 2, 3, I land on that C sharp note from my ring finger, my third finger. So we've got 1s, 5s, and 8s, or I'm sorry, 1s, 3s, and 5s, and 8s, which is octaves. Let's see what this bright note is. Well, what note is that bright string? We just gave it a letter. It's our open E string, right? We already said E was the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just go up the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E. A's 5 is an E note. So the numbers again are referenced as a distance away from home base. In this case, the specific chord of A. So, jumping up the neck just to our E and our A shape, let's go to G because G is so common. Let's look at G, a G chord. We know we talked about numbers. 1. This note's 5 note is always going to be this far away. If we look at this random chord, doesn't matter what it is, its 5 note is going to be this distance away. Down a string, up 2 frets. I don't care what note it is, but if I go up to na na, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, back down to G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, always gonna be the case. What is this pinky note? It's an octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is our 3. 1, 2, 3. This note right here. Down there we have a 5. That's always a hard one to play. Everyone's gonna struggle with making that note play in that E shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not gonna go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? We don't really use 12. We wanna call it a 5. Let's call it a 5. We don't want 12s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the bright string, no matter where I take this E shape, its own octave is gonna be straight down to the bottom. Look at that E. E, E. Octaves. Still octaves from straight down, but now it's G. Octave all the way down. So we have 3 Gs. This one, 3rd string down, and bright string. 3 notes, 3 octaves. We have 2 5s in the E shape, and we only have one of the 3 notes right there where the 2nd finger is. 1, 2, 3. So understanding distance is super important to level 3 playing. Because we're trying to understand these things in a deep way, how are we going to understand them if we don't understand them, right? So, like hearing distances. For example, if I play this G, do we know what a C chord is going to sound like? Well, it helps to know that C is a 4 note from G. So if G's 4 note is a C, if I go, duh, I'm singing that G note, and I just walk up to my 4, I can know that C is gonna sound like that. C, 4. Now, what does the 1 sound like? The G. Let's go back to G, right? 4. What does that sound like? major and minor chords are made up of 1s, 3s, and 5s, and that's it. And anytime you see another number, it's because they're trying to tell you, we'll take that 1, 3, 5 and either replace it with this number or add it to the 1, 3, 5. Let's look at the A shape. We already went through these numbers, but we're going to do it again. We're talking about C specifically, the C chord. We're just taking a shot at the C chord, its own sovereign chord, not what's relationship to other chords, just what notes are in C. And those are the numbers we're talking about. 1, so we're calling it its own 1. C, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can know what that note is if I understand distance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 down, 2 frets up from. That C is always going to be an octave. And 3, just like down here. This note was the 3. We're going to follow that to C. 1, 2, 3. 1, 5, 8, 3, 12. Crazy, huh? So I hope that you're like at least taking away some of these things. If some of it's going over your head, first of all, take a day or two to contemplate it and try to find it on your own. I always tell my students, learning doesn't happen during the lesson. Learning happens when all that's gone and you have to reprocess it. So think about it, reprocess it, maybe watch the video again. So we mentioned that there's 2 ways in which we measure distance and use numbers. One is when we're talking about a specific chord itself, which is what we've just been talking about. We're not